So, good evening, YouTubers, subscribers, and friends and the like. It's Grant coming at you from middle of Illinois on Saturday, March 28th, 2026. I have a little bit of a story to tell you today. I was at the Rantoul, Illinois. I think that's how you pronounce that town. I don't know. McDonald's. And this little girl, well, the dad and the little girl came in. The little girl went to the women's room to use the bathroom after he pointed where it's at. He goes to sit down at the booth next to like the men's room side. Then I want to call it it because it basically looked like, from my perspective, an old man with long hair dressed as a woman. It decided to go follow the little girl, like 6 years old or 8 years old or whatever. I'm not even sure if she was 6 years old. She's pretty tiny. Follow her into the bathroom, and then I'm clear down the aisle, so I'm not exactly sure I'm saying it's a he, but I don't know. For this perspective of this video, I'm going to call him a he, because it looked like a he dressed as a woman. But anyway, said something to the lines of, I'll go help her out in the bathroom or something, This, of course, totally pissed off the classic American dad. That's like, no, this is not happening. He follows the little girl and into the bathroom and into the woman's bathroom. Like a minute and a half later, the little girl comes back out, and then I start hearing all sorts of noises in the bathroom. I'm guessing, I didn't stick around for the rest of it, but I'm guessing he handled business in the bathroom and decided to show it why that is not the best idea. Anyhow, he comes back out a little bit later with what looks like washed off clothes. Like his pants are wet and his shirt that he was wearing is wet, because I take it he must have beat the hell out of the guy and then washed in the sink, trying to wash the blood off or whatever. Comes out, and as he's messing with his clothes, he's walking by me. He goes to tell me, you didn't see anything. I'm like, I'm on your side, man, on that scenario. I know exactly what happened in there, but I didn't see nothing. Because there are sometimes some things in this world the law can handle equally for everybody, and other things in this world, I learned a long time ago, street justice works better. Every one of the cops that responded to this whole scenario are, of course, on the dad's side, but the law, part of law enforcement, says you have to enforce the law. That guy got assaulted for going in there dressed as a woman and going to mess with the dad's little kid. So they go to try to interview people and whatever that was sticking around, and like I had told the guy, I'm not going to say shit, so to speak, excuse my French. So they tried to start interviewing me on it. I said I had my face on the phone. I didn't see nothing. Did you hear anything? I'm like, I didn't hear anything either. I had my earbud on, I had my face on my phone. Didn't see nothing. Well, the preteen McDonald's employee comes out at that same time and said he saw us having our conversation about him telling me not to say anything, blah, 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 and what I had said to him. And basically the McDonald's employee threw me underneath the bus because he's too naive. He doesn't have enough life experience, I guess I would say, to learn when to keep his mouth shut. But anyway, they tried to threaten me with obstruction. I said, go ahead and take me to jail for obstruction, and then I'm going to ask the judge how you can compel people to be a witness when we have a Fifth Amendment right to ourselves and everything else we see. But go ahead and take me to jail for obstruction if that's the way you want to go. They ended up IDing me for the sole purpose of trespassing me from McDonald's, and they solicited a trespass from the McDonald's people because I flat out told them, the other dude, that McDonald's employee, must be lying or something. I didn't see nothing. I told you what I saw. My face was in my phone. I didn't see or hear nothing. They knew, obviously, clearly lying. And then on top of it, there's cameras. McDonald's has cameras that they'll eventually have to get the footage from corporate office for. Eventually that will show that the guy stopped and said something, and I said something back to him. Obviously that all's there to do that with if they really wanted to. But in that instance, if it had been a regular instance of like a dude went in there, I don't even know, it would be roughly justified, but two guys fighting or whatever, then yeah, I would have spoke up and said this is what I saw, blah 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 blah. But in that case where a guy dresses as a woman and then follows a little kid into the bathroom, I'm sorry, but I'm not saying nothing past that point to law enforcement. that her American dad wants to go in there and handle his business, I'm all for it in terms of that. There's a time and a place to speak up, and then there's a time and a place to just tell law enforcement in general that you didn't see nothing. And that's why I'm not going into the specifics of it on this video as to what they look like or the vehicle they left in or anything like that, in order to help their investigation, because I don't want to help their investigation. I'm all for it, you know. And if I'd have been closer to that restroom, there's a chance I would have went and helped the guy out, in my opinion, because that was uncalled for. Whatever that psycho pedophile, whatever, was going in there after her to mess with her or something. I don't know, but I would think anybody in this world would be put in the same situation, would come up to the same conclusion. Anyway, I stopped here mostly to talk about that video, and then I want to see the side and see if there's any damage on it, because as I was trying to leave, they had their cop cars parked in different places, and I kept asking them to move their stuff so I can leave, because after asking them 2 or 3 times if I'm free to go so I could leave, they said yeah, but they wouldn't move. There might be a little scratch right there in the corner piece, I'm not sure. Doesn't look like a huge bad scratch, but I hit the McDonald's trees trying to get out of there in that corner because they wouldn't move their cop cars because they were busy investigating, and then I could sit around and wait for them to be done with their investigation before I leave. You know, they're just being mean to me because I was being mean to them, so to speak. They all understood it, though. There wasn't one cop there that did not understand that street justice was better than law enforcement in that point of view. I kind of tend to think, but that was the main reason I got out. I made the video today was to see if there's any real damage that I can tell from, because I heard the scraping sound from the trees, but I think it's way up top there. There might be a little bit of a scratch. I don't know. I'll have to climb up there later after I get off video and spit on my hand or something and try to wipe that off and see if it's dirt or if it's an actual scratch. And then I'll probably have to turn it into claims if it is a scratch and not just dirt, but I'll check that out later. It's too cold today. It's only 45 degrees outside or something, or a high of 48 today, and I think it's down to 46 or 45 now because the sun is going down, and it's going to be 40 low. I was going to sleep in the back box of the truck, but 40 degrees is almost too cold for my lungs, so I may have to sleep sitting up in the driver's seat on this one. There's no partition, as you can see, on these trucks to go back there. This is going to Olathe, Kansas, which is a suburb of Kansas City, Missouri. And it's 630 miles. I already took one box truck the other day. That's what I was coming back on the train from. Then I didn't make a video because I didn't have any content. And then this box truck is going back to the same place. And basically I was taking the 2 short runs so I could get a longer run. And then they ended up posting a Goshen, Indiana down to Dallas, basically. And I'm going to take that run next weekend for a bigger 26-foot box truck. Like actual truck, not van on a box like this is. So I'll take that one down there for 1,000 miles down to Texas, so I'm down by my stuff again. Was going to hold out for California or Washington, but then I decided 1,000 miles on that run is enough. But anyway, that's what I've been doing lately, is these 2 box trucks to Kansas City. From Goshen, Indiana to Kansas City twice now. This will be the 2nd round. And then I'll be coming back or try to go back in a slightly different way. I might fly back, I don't know. And then I'll get my other truck that goes down to Dallas. And then after that I'll be hopefully be doing Texas to California or Texas to Ehrenberg, Arizona trucks again for a little while. This is a nice little break. I have not got my decals yet. In the next video I might get the newer decals because I have not managed to be at quality headquarters in time during business hours to get them, but next week I will, because I'll be coming back on a Tuesday, and I'll go get the truck during regular business hours, check it out the gate, and then go over to quality headquarters and whatnot and get the decals, the newer decals that are magnetic, and they're all white compared to these decals that are black and white. So background wise, they're all white background with a black writing, versus the one I have now are kind of mixed. So part of it is black background with white writing, and part of it's white background with black writing on it and whatnot. They're the old decal style, and they tried to make new ones that are easier to read, I think. But anyway, that's what happened today. Dude left with his kid. the McDonald's employee kid threw me under the bus, and I think also probably explained to them eyewitness-wise what all they look like and stuff. You know, the dad looks like and the kid looks like and stuff like that. Did the job that I could have done as a witness, but in that situation, I'm perfectly fine going the rest of my life having not told law enforcement anything on that situation at all. I cannot believe a person that's already mentally messed up in the head, if you're walking around as a dude dressed as a woman, then goes into the bathroom with the 6-year-old just because he sees the opportunity, because the dad is obviously a male, and there's a male there with a little kid that's a female, and according to normal social rules and norms and whatnot, as a male, you're not supposed to go into the female's restroom and vice versa. And this is kind of what he was hoping for, that dad wouldn't follow him in there, and then I don't know if he's trying to be nice about, I don't know, what the hell was it? Something along the lines of, I'll go help her out. Going in the bathroom with her. The classic American dad didn't like that, and I don't blame him one bit. Maybe if I'd have been sitting closer to that booth or something, that would have helped him out with that situation. We both went in there and handled business. But at the same time, none of that is my business. I'd end up in jail over something, an issue like that brought on by some other mentally retarded person. So I wasn't too apt to jump right up and do it anyway. I just wanted to kind of see what would go on, and I'm glad that guy won whatever fight, and it honestly didn't sound like much of a fight. It sounded more like a one-way fight, I think. But he sure taught that it, why you don't do that in society, why you go to prison or why you go to a mental facility instead of doing that out in society or something. I don't know what they had planned on. Maybe he was being innocent and just wanted to show her where the stall is and that's it, or maybe he was going there and mess with her. I don't know. Obviously the dad, nobody else wanted to find out in that whole situation, and after his little girl went in the bathroom, that guy got up and did that. Oh well. Dad followed him in there and handled business, and I for one applaud him big time for that. And there are just certain things that you just, if I would feel like a traitor to the United States if I were to walk in there and if the cops walked up to me like that and I told them witness wise what all happened and what he looks like, and at that point, yeah, that's something I might keep my mouth shut. And if you take me to jail for keeping my mouth shut, that'll be a different thing altogether. But I'd much rather do that than let the system go after that guy for handling his business, which it was his business, his kid to go to protect, and any dad out there would go and protect their kid. So, as far as I'm concerned, he handled his business and he was the winner of the deal, and he left, and that's all that needs to happen. Like and subscribe, leave comments. I'll catch you in the flip. Peace.